And record. Welcome back to the 52 Weeks to Wealth. We have been going through this journey for, you guessed it, 23 weeks. Now, Wealth Principle 23 is a very powerful principle. It ties really closely into Wealth Principle 22. Wealth Principle 23 is the power of partnerships. Last week, we talked about seeking out strategic partnerships. And in the week before, we were talking about how you can find ways to leverage opportunities, build your energy, and move forward faster. Well, the power of partnerships is different from strategic partnerships. The biggest reason you want to partner with somebody strategically, we talked about it last week, is because you don't really want to commit too much and you want to be able to have very little into the deal. Whereas the power of partnerships talks about powerful partnerships, one partnerships that rules them all. In strategic partnerships, you're going to have a lot. You're going to have a lot of different affiliates or people you work with, but with your main partner, this is the person who is your yin to your yang, the opposite side of you. This person operates completely different from the way you do, watching and managing all of your blind spots. Every business person in the world has blind spots. There are very few who can actually operate massive companies alone. In fact, even the people who believe that they can run all by themselves find that with a partner, they do significantly better. Even Elon Musk had an executive assistant that ran and managed everything for him in his business. Not an equity partner, but she was certainly his backbone of the business. Hands to the camera if you recognize partnerships are helpful. They're more than helpful. They are necessary if you want to get to the next level. If you're making 100,000, if you're making a quarter million, maybe you don't need a partner. But if you're looking to make a million, if you're looking to make 5 million, 10 million, you're going to need somebody who is the backbone of your business. Either it's you or it's somebody else. But one of you has to be the visionary and one of you has to be the integrator. We're going to talk a little bit more about the visionary integrator combination and how it works when Mike Shine brings up the book of the week, which is Rocket Fuel. But hands to the camera if you recognize you got some weaknesses. Excellent. Excellent. Hands to the camera if you recognize you got some strengths. Very cool. The interesting thing is that all of your weaknesses are also your strengths. All of your strengths are also your weaknesses. And so in order to have the opposite strengths, somebody else would have to have the opposite weaknesses. And so it's not, you can never have a strength and a weakness that are the same. So if you are great with people skills, if you're great with speaking to people, then you may have a difficult time not being around people. There may be a difficulty with that silence. And it's just one of those things that seems to come up. People can feign it. You can feign it, you can fake it, you can improve on the skill. But at the end of the day, you're either the person who communicates really, really well with people, or you're the person who operates systems well. And if you believe that you're both, I guarantee you there's somebody out there who can do one of those better than you. Ask Karen if you know that's true. Excellent. We're in a group that has seen me speak before, who has, heard my concepts before. So you agree with me, which is valuable. For many people who are listening on Facebook who've never heard me speak before, it may be almost unrealistic to believe that you need somebody else to run your business. So for everybody in the community, for our alchemists, is it fair to say that at some point you believed you could run your business all by yourself? At some point early on, we'll say that it seemed like a great idea. It seemed like you didn't need anybody else. You just run it and everybody else would do the work for you if they were lucky enough to be in your company. And it's Cam, if you ever had a point where you thought you would just run the business all by yourself with no employees, no strategic partners, it would just be you. Okay. Yeah, I'm not the only one. We've all thought at some point that I'm just going to build the perfect business all by myself with nobody involved. I'll keep it all to me. I'm not going to deal with anybody. I'm going to make all the money. And it turns out that business doesn't make a lot of money. It stays pretty small. It stays pretty small. Hence, Cam, if you know you want to make a lot more money this year. Excellent. Hence, Cam, if you want to do it with a lot less work, with a lot less of you involved. Excellent. So ironically, the secret to that is more people. but not just more people, one strategic person, one person who handles the other side of your business. And if you look at the camera, you can see some of the real high volume, high income earners have identified their strategic partner, their main partner, their power partner. If you look at Terry and Christine, right, they share their own screen. That's a partnership that has helped them get to a massive level of income. Me and Ron's right there. If it wasn't for him as a partner, I would not own most of the real estate I own. I probably would have stopped at 22 units that were pretty small buildings, and I would have trimmed back, being perfectly aware of that. That was not where I wanted to keep going. But with a partner, I don't mind the properties, the management, the closing of deals, the paperwork involved. I just like the sales piece. I really just want to go create videos and get on stages and have these conversations. But without a back end, we're not making money. And scam if you recognize the back end's important. Yes. The front end's pretty and nice. And for all you front enders, give yourselves a round of applause. You make the money. You make it rain. You bring it in. But without nothing to close on, no product to close on, nothing's being made. So you got to provide some sort of service. And speaking is not enough. Teaching is not enough. Videos are not enough. That is only the first step. It's the opening funnel. Now, on the other side, you can have the best product, be the greatest customer service person in the world, be able to manage properties left and right. But if you got no properties and you got no deals put together, you can be the brokest people on the planet. Ever been in that situation where you're really good at your job, but nobody's been there knocking on the door saying, come work with me? So it takes both, but they are two totally different mindsets. Two totally different mindsets. One person has to be thinking about the big picture, the big ideas, the visionary, right? They're out there thinking about where we're going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Who are the big players that we got to connect with? In fact, they're normally not thinking about clients. They're thinking about partnerships, the strategic partnerships. They're thinking about vendors on a big scale. Who has the money? Who's got that private capital or the financing? Where is the money is usually the question the visionary is thinking. Where do we want to go, and how do we connect the money to that vision of where we want to create? Hands the camera if you know that relates to you very easily. That feels like something fun for you. Excellent, excellent. You may be a visionary. You may be a talker, a seer, but maybe not so much the doer. And that's okay because everybody needs a doer also. Every company needs a doer. On the other side of the visionary, there's the integrator. An integrator likes to solve problems. If there's a problem, an integrator almost can't help themselves. If there's a mess on the desk, they would pick up and move around and organize said mess just because there's a better way to do this. Things would look better. If you think about your place in the business, you'd probably, if you're an integrator, probably prefer to just have the business come to you and you service, provide the product, make sure that they go through their process. Everything gets done the right way is the motto of the integrator. There's a right way to do everything. Hands to camera if you believe there's a right way to do everything. Yes, yes. So integrators are very, very aware that there is always a right way. And if something isn't going the right way, the integrator will make sure that it does, that things get aligned. They're also great with people, but not in the way that the visionary is. So an integrator is great at supporting people. So in a team of investors, like our team is a property manager, it's attorneys, it's lenders, it's wholesalers, real estate agents. The integrator can integrate all those relationships and provide service in a way where they now have what they need. Everybody gets what they want. Everybody gets what they're looking for to get the job done. And if a project needs a little bit of direction, the integrator is able to give that direction based on what the visionary has stated we're going to go do. So in South Coast Capital, I say, hey, we're going to go buy land. We're going to do 3D printed houses and we're going to buy multifamilies in Tampa. And now Ron, whenever somebody comes to him, will say, yep, you're the person for the money. Excellent. We'll do the refinance. You're the person who's going to manage our properties. You're the person who's going to bring us deals. And then he just connects everybody, and everything runs in the background. Hence, Cam, if you know a system like that would make your business a lot easier. You'd scale a lot faster. You get a lot more done. Drop it in the chat. Which one do you think you are? Are you the visionary? Are you the integrator? Do you see where you want to go? Are you easily talking to people and strangers, by the way? Visionary is strangers, integrator is familiar relationships. I cannot ask Ron to go out and find wholesalers or real estate agents to get the job done. He would. He would probably Google and get on Craigslist and find something. But Ron, what do you think? Which would you prefer? If I bring the people to you or you find the people?
You go find the people and I'll deal with them.
Excellent. Let's give Ron Bowling a round of applause. Man, a few words.
Go Ron.
Go Ron. And we have the same dichotomy with Kim Rodriguez and John Rodriguez, right? They have a partnership there where one, like John is a driver. He can just go out, do, find the deals, connect the money. And Kim is kind of the make sure nothing falls apart, right? Make sure everything stays moving. Money's line. She's the warrior in the relationship. Is that fair to say, Kim? And I mean warrior is in Ruha.
Yeah.
And John's we'll get it done. Somehow we're gonna buy this. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. That visionary mentality. So there we go. In the chat, we've got visionary, integrator. And we got a lot of integrators. Awesome. I seem to attract integrators to the group. Well, it's cool because we've always got a lot to integrate. And what's interesting is that in the world, there are a lot more visionaries than integrators. Our community just happens to attract what I believe are the most powerful people on the planet, the integrators. Because with integration, money is made. Without integration, nothing's getting done. Nothing is getting done. Integrators are all about action. Visionaries are all about thoughts, ideas, concepts. I want it all to get done. I just don't want to do it myself. Hands came if you ever felt that before. Excellent. Yeah, we're all a little visionary, aren't we? The difference between a successful visionary and the rest of the planet is we're willing to jump in and do the job. If there is no integrator, we'll integrate. If there is no way to get the job done, we'll get the job done. It's about taking action. It's about whatever it takes to become successful. We've built this company based on a result that we're looking for, massive passive income. We want massive income from passive income. Active income, something we'll do. We do the training company. We still have the brokerage that we run. And we still do the flips. But ultimately, the goal is how do we get more passive income into our business? Hands to the camera if that's something you want to do as well. Excellent. Excellent. Ron's goal when we started was he wanted to make sure the Bowling Family Trust had legacy wealth he could leave for his daughters that would take care of them beyond his lifespan, beyond him being alive on this planet. And Ron, is it fair to say your daughters right now are working towards not financial freedom? They haven't set that goal yet?
Correct. They all have either normal jobs or are still in school.
And have not even considered on the horizon one day taking care of their financial freedom.
Not at all.
So Ron has as a good parent, hence the camera, if you know your kids probably haven't come to that point yet either. Excellent. So as parents, it may make sense, kids could be artists, right? And actually Roger Andrews would know how to make his kids actually build money as an artist. He is a talented and financially intelligent artist. Let's give Roger just a round of applause just for being who he is. And if you do know anybody who's an artist, he is open and glad to mentor them. It's one of the things on his heart is to say, like, as an artist, like, you can make money, just do what I do. So it's a big enough why for Ron because he cares about his daughters. He wants to see them do well. Hands to the camera if you got somebody you care about that you want to see do well. Excellent. And that is probably going to outlive you. And got any people like that will outlive you that you already like? Awesome. Let them be your motivation. For me, it was I knew I'd have kids one day, so I was like, I probably want to spend time with them. My father would complain that he didn't get enough time with me. He didn't get to spend time with me because he was working 3 jobs growing up. He had all that work he had to do just to pay the bills, just to keep food on the table. And his biggest regret in life was that he wasn't there. He didn't get to see us, you know, talking, learning things, walking, all of those activities, us playing sports. He had to miss a lot of stuff. And so for him, it was, financial freedom would have been nice so that he could see all that. Hands to Cam if you can relate to that. Excellent. It's important to know why you do these things. Every week we come on and we talk about wealth, making more money, building more financial freedom. I think deep down, you know why you're doing it. I want you to drop it in the chat if you can. What is the reason financial freedom is important to you? I gave you one example, I'll give you mine. But what is the reason financial freedom is important to you? For me, it's I want to do whatever I want with whoever I want, whenever I want. Exercising your visionary muscles. Excellent. Free time. Hold my own without relying on others. Excellent. I still your answer. I'm sorry, Terry. Freedom of choice, vacation and options. Excellent. It's going to be super unique to everybody. We can overview it with do whatever I want with whoever I want, whatever I want. I think everybody ultimately understands that's really the goal. But deep down, it goes more specifically. There's something that drives you harder than anything else in your life. For my dad, it's quality time with his kids. For me, it's quality time with people I care about. My love language is quality time. Gifts don't go too far with me. Acts of service don't go too far with me. But and physical touch is up there, but nothing beats quality time. If you ever met me in person, I'm a high fiver, right? I'll give the dabs, I'll give hugs. I'm a very physical person, so it's one of the ways I show love. But quality time, spending time with people I care about, sharing ideas, moving people in a direction that they want to go, empowering people, especially the people I care about. That's my love language. Hands to the camera if you recognize that. It explains why I do the 7 Zoom calls a week. Explains why I make sure I'm always available. And I prefer Zoom. We could do a phone call, but it doesn't work the same way. I like to see you. I like to see your eyes. I like to see your face, your expressions. Is this working? Is what I'm saying making sense? Is it not making sense? And being able to move in a direction that moves you forward is fun for me. Hence the camera if you see that, if you know I'm enjoying this. Excellent. Excellent. It's like having all your friends agree that we should learn something really powerful that we can all work towards. The 100 Millionaires is something that I share with everybody. You have your purpose, you have your passion, you have your reason for being here. This is just a way to get it done. This is just a way to financially solve your problems. Find a partner and work towards building 100 millionaires. I guarantee you, every single one of you, if you build 100 millionaires, will be wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. 100 millionaires means you never have to worry about where to find the money, means you never have to worry about where to put the money, right? You got 100 millionaires. Each one of you has a business I could invest in at any moment. Hands to the camera if that makes sense, if you agree. Everyone here has a business you would love a little money for, yes? Excellent. 100 millionaires means you never have to do the work. You got 100 millionaires who know what they're doing. Hands to the camera if that's true. Either you're doing it or you got a team that's doing it. So I guess my point is that if you build 100 millionaires, you'll be wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. You want to become a decamillionaire, a hectomillionaire? Build 100 millionaires. I was talking to Mark Victor Hansen on the podcast this week, which, by the way, is still the highlight of my week. I still think that was the coolest conversation I had all week. Hansen came if you caught it on the Optimization podcast, Mark and his wife, Crystal. And he said to me, he's going after 1 million millionaires. Do you know why? Because he said 1 million millionaires, he's like, I'll probably be able to hit $1 trillion. I'll probably be able to build $1 trillion. And for me, you hear me talk a lot about the $1 billion, and that's because 100 millionaires means that $1 billion has been created. That's a actually, well, let's see, 100 million. It'd be 100 million, yeah. So we got to work on stepping that up. Maybe we'll go after 1,000 millionaires next year. Hence, Cam should be down for that. That's why I left the clause in. 100 millionaires inspire to build 100 millionaires. So you're gonna have to team up with me next year. We're all gonna start this together. And I've got a really powerful partner who is on the call as well, Dorina, who is, life partner. She absolutely crushes it and handles the communication so that I can get more involved in a thing I'm good at, which is creating content, which is reaching out, finding strategic partners to deal with so that we can reach out to more people. She makes sure that you always know what time the calls are on. Hence, Cam, if you've ever gotten a text or an email from Dorina, let's give Dorina a round of applause. She does something that I probably shouldn't even manifest this, right? I don't want to say it out loud, but I've never been good at follow up. It's never been my strength. I'm great at meeting people. I'm great at loving people. I'm great at caring about them. But when it comes to the follow up and going and writing that text, I'm like, yeah, but I could just go meet somebody new right now. And like for some reason, my brain is wired that way, where I want to go meet new people. And I love my people I've already know, especially when we're in the room together. I love the people I like, know, and trust. Right? I'd rather hang out with you. But for some reason, I never do the follow up. Hands to can if you've ever been guilty of that. You got people you care about that care about you, but you just don't go do that text or you don't do that phone call. Like they're the easier conversation. But for some reason, we're like, hey, let's go talk to strangers. I feel like there's more money with the strangers right now, or there's more engagement or a new conversation. Yet we know we always feel better when we talk to the people we already know. There's like a recharge. There's this recharging. There's this power to this community that we feel it right in the room. That every face you look at, you could do a deal with. Every face you look at, no, you're doing things morally, ethically, and legally. That's what we've built with the power, with the mentorship. And it started with an idea. It started with what is the process to build millionaires? What is the process to find people we could partner with? What would the process be to solve all of the problems we ever had? It was build a network of people we care about. Because when you care about people, you'll never let them down. But if you don't care about a person, like you just go on about your day, like you go out through a normal day. What I'm expressing is the power of a network. There is a network right here in this room, which could solve any problem that you have. Any problem that you can come up with or run into could be solved within this room. There's 41 of us on here. Most of us have already gone through the mentorship. Hands to Karen if you've gone through the mentorship. Excellent. Let's give our alchemists a round of applause. Anybody who's gone through the mentorship, you have an understanding. You have an understanding of how to buy real estate. You have an understanding how to build a business. You have an understanding of how to take your business to the next level. You men and women are people I trust my money with. I trust my relationships with. If you've ever, messaged me and said, hey, do you have a hard money person or a private money person or somebody I could partner with and do a deal with? I've got an answer. Hence, Karen, if I've answered back. So I've given you what you've been looking for. Excellent. Hey, what's the next book I should read? What's the next opportunity? That's what the 52 weeks is all about. I in my head, I know what the next question is. And so I created training that allows to answer the questions over time. Each week we implement a lesson. This week will be no different. This week, I want you to identify your power player, your power partner, that one person who has brought you the most in the last year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, who supports you the most. And I want you to have a conversation with them and I want you to share how valuable they are to you. And I want that conversation to start with something really basic, just a simple, hey, how's your week going? How's your day going? And then slide it into more depth where it's and you write these down if you have a pen next to you. It's valuable to remember this. This is something I want you to do every week. Every week I want you to have this conversation. This is the most powerful thing I do with Ron Bolin, and I do it with Dorina now. And every week I've committed 3 to 4 hours to spend with each one of them. And that's a lot of time for me to sit with anybody. Hence the camp to recognize that. It is a lot of time to sit with anybody, and we all feel it, right? Ron feels it when we're sitting down. He's like, "Damn, it's a lot of time to sit with somebody." But we talk about how's their week gone. We spend at least the first 20 minutes on just relationship stuff, just making sure we still like each other, right? How's your week going? And then we talk about where the company is, kind of what ideas we have, and then I'd say an hour into it, we're deep into the grind of the company. We're deep into processes, systems, who needs to be called, action steps, what's going on, where it's going, where we want to be, 5 years from now, and then we're tackling how to get that. The first 30 minutes is relationship. I do my very best not to, just spew ideas at Ron in our first 30 minutes. And Ron has no problem just asking me about how my weekend was. Like today, he started the call, "How's your trip?" And I'll ask him how the military was this past 2 weeks, which I'm sure he's very glad to be done with. Ron, how was it? Oh no, you muted yourself. You went in reverse.
It was a fantastic.
No, be honest. How was
It
it?
was a
Don't
fantastic.
believe you're on.
It was
Slightly
a
less than
fantastic.
fantastic.
So Ron still has what, one more year left in the service?
Yep.
Are you re-upping?
Nope. I'm done. It's 20 years.
Is that all?
That's all.
And Ron, what is the reason you decided to finish it up?
Because I didn't know what I know now. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it.
That's the truth. And
I
once
wanted
Ron
to show
gets
my
into
daughters
something,
that you start something, you finish something, you start.
wanted to show his daughters a lesson. And so even though it's somewhat annoying and detrimental to his lifestyle, he will finish off this last year, which isn't so bad, right? We're 12 more weekends.
And another annual tour. Yay.
So you got this.
Just 45 days total.
45 more days. Answer the camera if you know you could do a lot in 45 days. Let's not rub that in Ron's face, guys. Come on.
Not in the military.
Oh man, it's crazy because he won't even respond to my text until the end of the day. Where he's like, "Yeah, I'll have to sign it tonight. I'm somebody's little bitch right now." And I'm
Yeah, that's exactly what I say. Smart ass.
Let's give Ron Bowley a round of applause. He's goddamn amazing, and I wouldn't be able to do this without him. I don't think I would do it without him, just because it wouldn't be fun for me. Right? We sold shares in South Coast Capital because I needed that little extra motivation. Because Ron was financially happy with where we were at, and I was like, man, I need somebody who's hungry, somebody who's got a small piece of the company, so that I can go grow that to make it a big piece of the company. And so we sold shares, and now I look around the room and I see my stakeholders, I see my shareholders, my fellow South Coast Capital investors, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's grow this. Let's get some. So for everybody who wants to get to that next level, like mentally, but you're not doing it, you're not taking the actions, you're not doing the steps that are necessary, it might be time to commit to somebody you really like, somebody you really care about, a partner, that person who you've always wanted to do something with but never had a chance to, or that person who's always been super supportive of you, that person who's always been there for some of you. Like I know Brian, it's your spouse, right? It's your wife. Like you guys are a powerful partnership. For Kim, I know it's Kurt, like powerful partnership. And for many of you, it is that. It is already your spouse that you've chosen for life. You want to partner with them. But so, for some of you, it's like me and Ron, we just met through bigger pockets, and we're working together in a brokerage. And over time, we recognized that we had opposite strengths. And it wasn't necessarily that we wanted to create a partnership. It was just that we wanted to do more and wanted to get to the next level. And that burning desire to get to the next level brought us together. That was a strong enough reason for us to bond. And over the years, it's gotten tighter and stronger for us to be like, we can take on bigger projects. We've really discovered, what part of the body is he, what part of the body am I, and we don't ask each other to do our stuff. We just do our stuff, and it's become so powerful. So I want you to write down who that person may be. Who's the person that that you could trust, that you know that you would do whatever it takes to make sure they're okay. And I feel that about Ron, and Ron's proven it to me over and over again. Whatever it takes in our financial business, I would be there for. If it was something for his daughters, I would be there for him. If there was something for his family, I picked his mom up once. I drove 3 hours out to the furthest part of Massachusetts because she went to the wrong airport, and picked her up while Ron wasn't in town, and brought her back to his house and took her out for lobster dinner and enjoyed that relationship. But I would probably not do that for my own family. Like I would if I was asked, but like to do it for Ron was a no-brainer. He was in a situation and it needed to get done. Hands to the camera if you know there's somebody in your life who you would be willing to commit to like that. Then you might as well make money together. You might as well build a business together. You might as well partner up. Hands to the camera if you know that person's got opposite talents from you, opposite skills. Hell yeah. Then it might make sense to partner up with them. Now you can have, like we talked about last week, strategic partners, affiliates, people you work with who do things for you that are partnered. But this main partner, this either visionary or integrator, is going to be the person who makes sure the opposite side of what you're good at gets done. If you're the visionary, they're going to get all the integration done. If you're the integrator, they're going to make sure that the vision keeps moving forward, that they paint the picture of the future, how to make that vision and the money connect. They do all those big conversations. I fly all over the country. Ron will go all over the country in his RV, but it won't be to talk to people. And if you know that's true. I fly all over the country to have conversations. I fly all over to meet. I drive all over the country to meet with people. That's my job. Big relationships, the big swing. Ron's job is to stay at the office and make sure things get done, to connect, to make sure that all the stuff is handled, the systems, the processes, or the van. So he's got the van behind him. He's not tied to anything. So I want you to commit to a person this week and have a conversation with them. And maybe not go off too strong, like, hey, we're going to go build $1 billion business together. Let's do this. But maybe start with, how's your week going? What do you got going on? Hey, have you ever considered building something really big? What is your thing that you would do forever if there was a thing, something that you could just enjoy doing? What do you think is your skill? When it comes to working for other companies, what is your skill? What have you been really good at? And I would start moving into the idea of a partnership. Start moving into the idea of partnering with somebody, because you'll be able to move 10 times faster. And is Mike Shine on the call? I didn't see his window on. Man, I feel all alone without Mike. Excellent. So who has read the book Rocket Fuel? Ron, would you yes, you have. Ron, can you give us an understanding of what Rocket Fuel is all about?
It talks about how you have to have a visionary and an integrator, just like you were talking about. Somebody who's got the crazy ideas and somebody else that says those ideas are crazy, but some of them are okay. Let's do those. And here's how we do them.
Hey, Ron, how many times have you read the book?
Just a couple.
Just a couple. And have you found it valuable in our relationship, our interaction?
Yeah, it made me understand you a lot more.
So if nothing else, when you find that partner, let's give Ron Bowling a round of applause. He would rather not be talking on these calls.
That's right.
In fact, sometimes he puts his name up as Ron, not a Coach Bowling. So
Totally.
it is not Ron, not a coach. Yeah. It is extremely valuable to me that he's here and he's read the book, because there are certain books that I have Ron read, and I asked him to read. And when he reads one, I'm like, whoa, like that's a big deal. And when he quotes one, that's when my mind blows. When he's like, yeah, you belong doing this and I belong doing that. And right now we're overlapping. And he's brought that book up multiple times, Rocket Fuel, because it creates a great guide for us on how to operate with each other. And having a third party opinion like Rocket Fuel allows us to move faster, because it's not his idea. It's not my idea. It's the book said we shouldn't be doing this. The book said we got to go and do this piece. So it's a really great framework. If you haven't read Rocket Fuel already, this week I would strongly suggest, especially for anybody who's been through the mentorship, this is a great time to go through and take this book on. It's one of the 52 books in the 52 wealth principles, and the wealth principle is power of relationships, power of partnerships. This book will teach you the process. It will help you if you were a little fuzzy on who the visionary and the integrator was. It will help you identify very clearly who that is, and then the roles. And if you don't have one right now, it will walk you through the process of how to find one. Hands to the camera if you couldn't figure out who that partner might be. Excellent. Excellent. Cool. So this book will help you with the process of identifying that partner. Who is it? What do they look like? What do they want? What are they looking for? How to compensate them. It's a very, very powerful book. So we've got about, well, I'll say a few more minutes left, and we'll talk about how the coaches believe this principle works. And by the way, I've learned that I've got to shorten these a little bit. Hence, the camera, if you know, going an hour and a half is a little bit long for all of us. So practical step this week, I want you to identify a partner. And I do want you to read the book. I think that it'll be a valuable book for you. And I want you to have that conversation with somebody. Have that conversation about what somebody is looking to create for themselves. And then be willing to attach yourself to that person. Assuming they have the opposite strengths, assuming, by the way, they're moral, ethical, and they do things legally. If they don't have those three elements, I don't even know why you're having a conversation with them. You can remove them from your life. If somebody is immoral, they don't do things legally, and they don't do things in an ethical manner, you don't belong hanging out with them. Hence the camera, if you know you have a better life, removing people like that. Yeah. I'm never that aggressive when I talk about broke people. But when I'm talking about immoral people or unethical people, yeah, you have no place for them in your life. There really is no place. Broke people, spend less time with them. Rich people, spend more time with them. People you like, spend all your time with them. If you enjoy the person, they support you, and they want to grow with you, you might want to partner with them. Does that make sense? Cool, cool guide. Excellent. So if you haven't joined the mentorship, this is your call to action. This is the time to join. This is where you really will learn your skill set, learn your partners, meet people who are on that same wavelength of we want to build wealth, we want to get together, we want to grow stronger and more powerful and deliver freedom to each other. By the way, the visionary and integrator, even though we feel like each other is doing all the work, neither of us feels like we're doing any work. It's just super simple stuff that we enjoy doing. That's the part of the business Ron and I both keep. And when we feel like there's work, we think, okay, who do we have to hire? Who do we have to bring on? Which Julie Bradley's on the call. Let's give Julie Bradley a round of applause. We needed a bookkeeper because Ron hated the bookkeeping. Pass it along to somebody who likes it. She's amazing at it. If you need a bookkeeper, Julie Bradley is phenomenal. And I only promote people who've done a great job for us. So it's a skill set that you will enjoy. Man, like you couldn't stop me from building this community. You couldn't stop me from attracting amazing people. You couldn't stop me from wanting to mentor people. And I do it in a way that is efficient for my time. That's why we do group calls. That's why, we have, for anybody who's in the mentorship, you have that time before we jump on this call where you can ask questions, or you can share your wins. You can partner with people. You can have conversations. And then we have our Facebook group where there's always chatting going on. There's always accountability in there. Hands to the camera if you know you're going to drop something to be accountable to this week. If you haven't done it in a while, it's time to go drop something in there. Hell yeah. Give yourselves a round of applause. A little commitment goes a long way. The Facebook group is designed to make you more accountable because if you know we know what you're doing, we'll hold you to it. Sometimes just typing it out there makes you want to do stuff. So the mentorship has a lot of tools that we implement, including the video of the week, which, by the way, anybody who's graduated, can I hold you accountable to go back and watch the videos, the Alchemist Mindset videos? Excellent. Excellent. Because I know during the process, sometimes our alchemists don't actually go watch the videos. They hope I'm going to talk about it each week, which I do. But really cements in even further when you get that 45-minute lesson, that 30-minute lesson that was recorded live before COVID. So you get the feel of the room. You get everybody who was in the room back then when we were doing these. And it gives just a little, it's really fun. I like watching those videos. And I'll admit it, I like my own voice. Sometimes I'll go and I'll watch trainings that I already did, and I'm like, that was a damn good training. There's a lot of good stuff there. Hands to the camera if you don't have that same passion for your own voice. It'll come to you over time. You just got to say more smart stuff on camera. And eventually you'll be like, damn, that was good. If you feel that, we were talking about it earlier with Jamie, if you feel that the stuff you say on camera isn't really important or valuable, just say more stuff on camera. Eventually you'll say something really that hits you. Does that make sense? I used to hate what I said in the beginning when I started this, but then I got better and I got better and I trained and I learned, and having everybody on the Zoom call makes it easier for me because I can see what's hitting. I can see what's not hitting. I can just look, and if I see the nods, I'm like, yes, that works. And if I see like the eyes like going big, I'm like, damn, I'm hitting them right there. Like that's money. And if I see everybody, they write down like this and there's something moving, I know somebody's taking notes. Do more of that. And if I notice for like whatever reason this is going on, I'm like, I gotta switch up my conversation. So this is a pro tip. When we have these Zoom calls and you have an opportunity to speak, take it and pay attention. Is what I'm saying pulling people in, or are they ignoring it? Don't take it personally. Just that's you. It's your ability to speak. Hands to the camera. If somebody comes on here and knows what they're talking about, they've got something powerful and they hit you with a couple of words, you're like all in on that. And if somebody comes in and they're just like, yeah, I'm awesome and I chilled and I did things and like you're just like, okay, like whatever, when they're done, I'll just listen then. Hands to the camera if you ever experienced that. When you speak, aim to add value to the other person, not add value to yourself. So pro tip for everybody in the Alchemist community, I want to see you successful. I want to see you doing more videos. I want to see you pushing your brand, your face, your name, your company out there so that more money can flow into you. I want you to find that partner. Find that partner who, if you're not the person who'll do it, they'll do it. They'll go out there and build that brand and put their name out there. I want you to have so much leverage that when a new obstacle comes to you, you say, this is easy. And I'm okay if you got to say the word hard, I'll understand. Oh, this is difficult, or this is hard, like that's okay. But I want for you to more and more often in your business say, this was easy. Wow, that was easier than I thought. Easier than I thought. And that could be an affirmation for you to write down. That may be a fun one to live with. This is easier than I thought. Success is easier than I thought. This business is easier than I thought. Getting my dreams is easier than I thought. If you're single and you want to get in that perfect relationship, that perfect partner was easier than I thought. That perfect partner was easier to find than I thought. If you're looking for a certain amount of money and it's been resistant to you, I want you to start saying it's easier than I thought, or easier than I think. Significantly easier than I think. If that body, you want that perfect body, you want those abs, right? You want those shoulders, the arms, the legs. Start saying getting in shape is easier than I think. Getting in shape is easier than I thought. Act as if it's already yours and that it is easy to get there. And it will be. Hands scan if you know that's true. What we think, we create. Absolutely. So call to action on the mentorship. If you have not signed up for the mentorship yet, I apologize for not pushing it hard enough. I should have told you sooner that it was the only step you need to make to become successful. The mentorship, you can go to gualtermerlo.com/GA. That's right. My initials, my name, my initials. Very narcissistic of me, very egotistic. That's about where the ego ends. Everything else is all about you. I want you to be successful. I want you to take your business to the next level. All I'm asking is you remember my name, type it in, and then type in my initials at the end. Hands to camera if that's simple. gualtermerlo.com/GA. Sign up for the mentorship. Let us take you in. There's something powerful about the pack. I remember watching Cesar Millan. Who remembers who Cesar Millan is? All right. Who doesn't know who Cesar is? Okay. Cesar Millan, for the cat people, is the dog whisperer. Caesar Millan is able to make dogs know each other, understand each other, like become calm. He goes in and this dog would be like angry at the world, right? Just depressed or biting or snapping or just not listening. And then Caesar would come in and he had this powerful tool that he would use to make dogs suddenly become calm, suddenly become smarter, just more responsive. And he called it his pack. He would bring the dogs in to where he'd already had smart, intelligent, calm, obedient dogs. And the dogs would attack that dog if it did anything wrong. And then they would reward the dog if it did things right. Who here has been at some point corrected by somebody else in our community? Somebody's told you stop using the word need, or don't use the word I can't, or I don't know how, or try, or should. In this community, the pack is powerful. Each one of you holds a little bit of value to each other. Where if somebody's stumbling, and by the way, everybody's respectful. Hands to the camera if you felt like disrespected by anybody in the community. I'm sorry, wrong one. Hands to the camera if you feel like everybody loves you and cares about you and wants the best for you. Excellent. Yeah, wow. I almost got you, Julie. You're like, no, hand down. It's because of the culture we've set. We've built a community that is designed to be an asset for everybody who comes into the community. When you come into the mentorship, you get access to this tribe, this group of people who are here to say, yep, I got your back. I'll hold you accountable. If you say, I don't know if I can do it, but let's pretend, what if you could? Let's just pretend it was possible for you. What would that look like? A community that understands how to inspire each other, a community that knows how to pull the best out of each other. Oh, I really need to make that call. Well, maybe you don't need to. Maybe you're going to make that call. Why don't we make that call right now? Let's take that action right now. Let's just do it. That ability to empower each other, there's nothing like it on the planet. That's why Caesar, when he can't figure out a dog, he brings it to the pack. That's his big move. That's his big play. I remember watching it on TV being like, dude, that's genius. He's got all these other dogs that are like already like know how to operate and be like decent human beings, like decent dogs, and just bringing the crazy one and they're just like, nope, that's not going to be happening here. So Alchemist Nation, you guys are powerful. We're powerful individually by ourselves. Each one of you is really powerful, but together as a group, we can solve just about anything. Hands to camera if you know that's true. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I want to open up to the coaches. Dr. Terry Wager, what is your biggest tip around that power partnership, around that partnership that moves you further than anything else?
You know, I think the thing that I've been thinking about while you've been talking about partnerships is there's the integrator and there's the visionary. But when you're beginning, you might think you're one and you're actually better than better as the other. And so you got to get in, and we have the mentorship as a beginning. And I'm gonna point out something Walter talked about is the mentorship is the only thing you need, is something he said in his flow, but it's the beginning step of what you need. We want to help 100 people become millionaires, and then 100 of those become people who are helping the millionaires become millionaires. And so we have this huge vision of bringing you people through to the millionaire mark. And it's not just one step. It's a series of steps, and it starts with the mentorship. And then it starts with coaching after the mentorship, because the mentorship really just gets you in a place where, okay, I have an idea of what I want, and I have an idea of how to stay focused, and I have an idea that I need to have more information. And then the next piece is to actually become the student of how to go about building a business, building an investment company, building whatever is going on with you, building a team. All of these things come from putting yourself inside the group, like Walter was talking about. But you have to make the decision to jump in. And there's a lot of people that have been through the mentorship, decided the mentorship is enough. And then they're struggling and they're attempting to do it on their own. And now they're actually guiding themselves, thinking that they're a visionary or thinking that they're an integrator, and they need to go find somebody else but they're not actually taking the direction that Gwalter and Generator and the other coaches in here are suggesting. And so if you've decided that you're going to take a break on moving forward, rethink that. Think about, wait a minute, how can I go faster? Look at the Melanies, look at Kim, look at Matt Bierce, look at some of these major players in this group who have joined, jumped all in, got everything that we suggested, and they follow those directions. Look at their outcomes and then look at yours. And then step into your greatness instead of stepping back, because the bullet train action is all about stepping in and going forward.
And I want to add to what Terry just said. We understand, Terry and I have been guilty of doing the same thing. We've had opportunities and programs and we've held ourselves back in the past. So we get it. We get where it's coming from. So when Terry gives that advice of, if you got to the first step and you're having trouble getting to the next step, but you're not taking the step, come talk to us. Yeah, if you've been through the mentorship and you're wondering why you're not getting to the next level, come have a conversation with us. We've got the next step for you. It's not something to be ashamed of to ask for help. It's something to be proud of. If you're smart enough to ask for help and you know where to ask and you know where the help is and you know it's going to work, ask for help. That's what we're here for. There are very few people on the planet who have the experience that this community has, to have the experience that me and the other coaches have together cumulatively, and are willing to go and work with you. And we charge as little as possible. We do it in a super affordable way. Handsome Cam, if you know everything you've ever paid for with us, you got more value than you paid for. Excellent. Excellent. We do that intentionally because the idea is just enough, charge just enough to hold you accountable. Charge just enough to make sure you show up and do it. Because on the other end of that, we know that you're more fun for us to work with if you're all in. You're more fun for us to work with if you're highly motivated. If you've paid for it, you're like, I'll show up, I'll do it. And you're more fun for us to work with if you're stuck there listening to us and taking the advice that you don't want to hear. It's a lot easier to work with somebody who is committed to the process because they paid for it. Handsome Cam, if you know that's true. I know personally, like my coach right now, he charged just enough to hold me accountable. Just enough, which happens to be $32,000. It was just enough for me to decide, like, okay, I'll take this seriously. And the reason I hired him is because I wasn't doing the work I was supposed to be doing. I just wasn't doing it. I knew what would make me successful, and yet I wasn't studying it. I wasn't taking the action. I wasn't putting it together.
You know, I'm gonna double dip here for a second and talk about that for a second, because what we're talking about now, and I'm messing with Walter a little bit here, but it's not about what we charge. It's about the investment that you're making in yourself.
Sure.
And there's people in here. Dorina has, Matt has, Melanie has, Rick Aon has. There's so many of you. I can't identify all of you, but Jamie Tatra. So many of you have gone and invested in yourself. And it's when you invest in yourself that you start to see the dividends. You start to see the money come back. But when we do that hesitation thing, we actually stop the flow of money as well. It's a spiritual idea that if we are the stopper of putting in, it does not come back the same way, and it starts to make us slow down. And so put in, jump in. And if it scares you, you probably want to do it. You might want some guidance on that, but step into it. Talk to Walter. Talk to us. Talk to us, because we will help you make the decision if it's right for you. And there's been many people that I have turned away from our program because they're not quite ready for it.
Yeah,
And
I've done the same with the mentorship. I have turned people away because they're just not ready. Doesn't make sense.
And there's many people that I've offered because I know they're ready and they've hesitated. Yep. And you know who you are. You guys are on the call. You know who you are. Why are you hesitating?
It's all love. It's all love. We want to see you move forward. And it's a passion. It is a passion, because each one of you has so much potential that you haven't tapped. And as somebody who can see potential, I think that's my gift on the planet. You know, I have the ability to see what people are capable of. And as somebody who can see it all the time, it's so painful not to see somebody go and use it, because I love to watch it. I love to see the explode. Like, if you've ever texted me that you've taken down a deal or got something on a contract, like, my response is always, I want to see you very successful. You know, I want to see you do really great. It's the truth. I do. Like, that's what I enjoy. I live off of, like, I can't watch movies where there's not a happy ending at the end. Like, I want to go see the aliens get blown up, or I want to see the aliens survive, or I want to see, you know, the government get taken down or the government do well. Like, what, as long as the government's the good person, I want to see something happen well, right? Does that make sense? Like, in the movie I'm watching, if I fall in love with a character, I want it to be a story at the end where there's like walked off into the distance and everything was good. So it's the same with my life. Anytime I meet somebody, I want somebody who's going to bring me stories of success, because I feed off of stories of success. Your stories motivate me to do more, motivate me to teach more, train more, be more, just be a better person. So I'm looking for more stories of success. And when I find somebody with great potential, it kills me that they're not ready to play the movie. They're not ready to play it out. Be the character that I'm looking for. Be the player. Be the person who can show me the next level, show me the next scene, and help me build in my head this vision of 100 millionaires, people who are extremely successful, helping each other. Hands to the camera if you see how that works. If you're excited to be a part of it, hell yeah! Give yourselves a round of applause. It's always fun just sharing why this is so important to me. It's who likes to share things that are important to them? Yeah, we all have it in us. This me being selfish. So thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Mitch Jorsky, you're up next.
What's up, brother?
What's up, big dog? Crypto cat.
Nothing, just responding to messages. Because, you know, sometimes things turn into yeses.
That's true.
Yeah, partnerships, fun times. So don't let Walter and Ron basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Intimidate you, because the clear visionary and clear integrator / technician, like, clearly defined the way they do it. Like, that's not the norm. That's like really awesome and just worked out awesome, to use the same word again. So the reality is life isn't always that black and white. And you can have a little bit of visionary, you can have a little bit of integrator, kind of like Terry was alluding to, or sometimes you might be the other one and think you're, you know, on the other side of the fence. So I have a partnership that's very successful, and I wouldn't classify either one of us 100% as a visionary or an integrator, because we both have a little of each in us. And it just happens to work out because there's times when he's looking at the bigger picture when I might not be, and vice versa. And there's times when he's, you know, knee deep in the day to day when I might just be looking at these bigger pictures. So that's actually why we work so well, because I think have both those. Now, would it be more powerful if we had a Walter Ron setup? Probably, but it is what it is. So in addition to that, my biggest takeaway from today was when Walter said, just say stuff. And I was like, wait, just say stuff? I can do that. Everyone knows I can do that. So I'm going to just say some stuff. And remember, knowledge is power. Experience is the best teacher. Don't wish for it, work for it. And excellence does not require perfection. And those are my random sayings for the day.
Let's give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. I missed the cat out. So what I've been doing for my friends, my coaches, is when I get some time to cut up the videos, I go and I put these on TikTok. But what I've been doing is their little segments. Why not? I'm already cutting the video up. I send it over to them, post it on Facebook, give them a little bit of content. Serve, right? Who's next? We'll put Doreen on.
Good morning. So my biggest takeaway is, you know, sometimes we want to make decision right away whether I'm visionary or am I an integrator. It's like it's not as easy as taking disc profile, for example. It does take time to identify who you are in your company. And I did read this book, and I think I'm going to read it again, because I was even talking to Terry, like, am I this or that? And he's like, no, you're a manager. And I think at the beginning, you are wearing all the hats, and especially you are here on this call because you are looking to either grow your business or start a business. So we all have entrepreneurial spirit within us. And at the beginning, you might be everything. And then as you start talking to people, as you start hiring or inviting volunteer to partner up with you or expanding your network, you then may identify, oh, you know what, I really don't like doing something. And for example, spreadsheets for me, right? I definitely not my stuff, but I do love following up and creating events. So am I visionary or am I an integrator? Probably a little bit both. And nothing wrong with that, I think, as long as you clearly identify, how Tara says, and Christine, emotions, then what's your strength, and then filling the weakness spot with someone who is stronger and more knowledgeable in the area that you're not. But that's okay not to know exactly who you are, because again, as you're reading E-Myth Revisited, it's a journey to really build what Walter's built with Ron, finding that perfect match. You will stumble upon maybe many relationships until you really really choose the right partnership. So just go ahead and try, and I'm using that word intentionally. Meet people, talk, say something, and until you craft that perfect partnership at the end of the day. So that's kind of my takeaway. I am in search still, even though I do have great partnership with Walter. He calls me an integrator. I don't know. Am I? So, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Let's give Darina a round of applause. She brings up a really good point. And Ron and I look like a very polished rocket fuel identity, like, wow, perfect. It's because in the beginning, I ran everything by myself. I was visionary and integrator. And I honestly did not associate very well with the visionary side of things. In the beginning of this company, I was the integrator. I preferred the work. I liked the process. And it wasn't until I partnered with Ron that I had to adopt a little bit more of the visionary side of things, because he was more prone to the integration side. And there were some integration pieces that he hadn't really, like, spreadsheets are only a newer piece to Ron's vocabulary or repertoire. But recently he's become, a demon on the spreadsheets, like just creates them, manifests out of nowhere. And it's been really powerful to watch because he's been learning that just in this last year, like just diving in and creating and becoming more valuable in that arena. Whereas I'm a master of Excel, and he's asked questions, he's learned and developed. So your relationship with your visionary integrator may change over time. In the business, you may have to be both. In the beginning, that's what you're playing. But the goal is to slowly be able to let go of a maximum amount of stuff. What is the maximum I can let go of? And who is the person who'd be willing to pick this up, that it would be within their realm? And like me and Darina, her relationship with me right now is I'm the visionary. It's really hard for anybody else to see as far into the future as I see, because I've worked on it for so many years. And for her, she can see a vision for herself, and it's a really powerful vision for her, and it helps me create my vision. And when it comes to integration, she talks to each one of you as often as possible in a much easier manner than I do. She makes sure you get that personal notification. When we're building out the training company, Doreen's thinking, I've got to make sure that automatic email goes out so everybody knows about this event coming up, and I've got to think about everybody and how they would read it. And so she has that. Whereas for me, I'm just like, make sure that people show up. Hands to the camera, if that makes sense. She's finding her role. It will take you time, but it's worth it. Each one of you has a role, and in the beginning, you do it all. But while you're doing it, write down the stuff you don't like so you can get very clear about what you do like. and over time, you'll find somebody who can fill that other side for you. And it may not be perfect at first. Like Mitch and Tim, their partnership is getting more polished over time. Eventually, Mitch will become the visionary. It's going to be the obvious piece, and eventually Tim will be the integrator. Tim is great with people skills. He just absolutely is. Mitch would rather not, but Mitch will always jump in if it's a high level enough person, which is very visionary style. It's got to be a big relationship, big deal. It's either money related or acquisition side. So, Mitch is saying, it's not perfect, but it will get there. If they stay in business long enough, if they set the goals far enough out, they will get to that point where they're like Ron and I, where it's just like, I know what he's doing. He knows what I'm doing. And we have no idea what each other's doing. Does that make sense? Like, I know he's doing the stuff that I have no idea about. And I'm doing the stuff he has no idea about. And it's working out perfectly. And once a week, we just calibrate. We just make sure everything's running smoothly. We've got Christine McGinley up. Christine, as one of the power players, a powerful partner.
Hey. I am reading Rocket Fuel right now, and it's quite interesting how much he is the visionary, but I think it comes down to kind of like what Doreen is saying. I don't think I'm the implementer, but I might be playing that role. The other thing it comes back to is it's just a label. Here comes the labels again, whether we're talking about D's, I's, DI, whatever it is, it's a label. And do we need to play the label, or do we just need to find our role and have the discussions and keeping an open conversation, staying on the same page? Like you're talking about, you check in with the people on your team. You keep those relationships open. You identify where you're at and where you want to go. No matter what role it is, in different positions, it's different visionary people.
Exactly. I love it. Let's give Christina a round of applause. And something very important, this will be my last tip on this, is that the visionary probably remains the visionary for life. As long as the business is alive, they're the visionary. But the integrator may change out over time. Over time, you may say, okay, integrators become, a business partner. But now the business partner needs an integrator, right? Now, to get to the next level, somebody else, and Ron is very clear with me, as the integrator, he would love to put in a CEO or a COO who would take everything he does and he just wants to be the money guy. Answer the camera if that's part of growing. That's part of the process. If you come in as the integrator doing a lot of the work, you may at some point have so much stake in the company that you could live off of it and say, okay, I just want to hold my stake in the company. I'll still be involved at board meetings, but I would totally love to have I'd train somebody to do all of this. That's how you grow a company. That's how you get to the next level. So it's part of the progression. And I know Ron can see it in his eyes. He's like, I could see the day where I don't have to do any of this and I'm just earning passive income. And we've got somebody even better than me in here, or a team of people better than me in here. Hands to the camera if you can see your company being that large, where it still exists. It's still moving what you want it to do, but you're not as involved. You can get there, but you got to put the work in today. You've got to see it in the future. You got to see the vision of what you want to create for yourself. And you got to show up every day knowing that, yeah, you won't be taking vacations this year. Maybe you won't be taking those days off this year. Maybe be grinding a couple extra hours every day. But in the future, that will no longer be you. It'll be a team of people doing those activities. It takes the stuff you're doing today to get to that place tomorrow. I promise one thing, the time is going to pass no matter what. Whether you do this year, whether you put this work in this year or you don't, the time will pass either way. And the results will be extremely different. Hands to the camera if you're committed to your success and doing what it takes in 2021 and 2022. Excellent. I appreciate and I love each one of you. I want to see you be extremely successful. It is my mission to build 100 millionaires, and I'm glad to see that you're one of them. Cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best. Bless you guys. See you on the next one.
Work with the best.